Alright troops, it's your man Chris Scullion from Aero Hack. Welcome to the first of one of my soon to be regular video reviews in which I take a look at what I've been playing recently. So in today's roundup I get fired into Mega Man Legacy Collection, form unlikely allegiances in Miitopia, fire more bullets in a Rambo marathon in Aero Fighters 2, invoke the spirit of Roberto Baggio in Super Sidekicks, and try my best to ignore a massive pair of tits in puzzle adventure Blockle. If you're more of a reader than a watcher, this entire roundup is already available on tiredhack.com, so you can jump over there and see it in written form if you'd rather. All the video footage in this roundup is captured by me, so you can see what the game looks like, except for situations where I've said otherwise. For example, the Miitopia video is all Nintendo's footage, not mine. Other than that, this is all captured by me, so you know it's the real deal. That said, let's get on with it. First up is Mega Man Legacy Collection 2. Now, a couple of years ago Capcom released Mega Man Legacy Collection on PS4, Xbox One, PC and 3DS. It contained no fewer than 6 Mega Man games, specifically the 6 entries in the NES series. So that's Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this follow-up, Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, completes the main series by adding Mega Man 7, 8, 9 and 10 into one handy package for your gaming pleasure.
Hang on!
I hear you say.
That's only 4 games, the first one had 6! This is a fucking outrage!
Well yeah, but the 4 games that are on offer here are at least slightly more varied than the 6 NES games, which all kind of look similar. Mega Man 7 is a SNES game, for example, one that differed from the evolving Mega Man X series by sticking to the NES roots and remaining steadfastly like the 8-bit games in terms of feel, if not in terms of how it looked. Mega Man 8 did the same thing but on PlayStation instead. This meant it had easily the most impressive graphics and character animations in the main Mega Man series, even though the voice acting's a wee bit shit. Then, wrapping things up are Mega Man 9 and 10, which despite their appearance are actually kinda modern-ish games. They were released in 2008 and 2010 respectively as homages to the NES originals. For your 20 quid then you get this quartet of side-scrolling platform shooting goodness, along with a hefty concept art gallery and even an extra armour mode which lets you take half the damage. It's perfect for today's kind of mollycoddle gamers who may not be able to deal with the brow moistening difficulty Mega Man games are notorious for. There's even an old school cheat code. If you enter up, down, left, right, down, up, down on the title screen of Mega Man 9 or Mega Man 10, you'll unlock all the DLC that were released for those games. It's not a bad wee package for fans then, although there's obviously room for improvement. Given that Mega Man X would likely want its own standalone package, it would have still been nice to maybe have seen some other less common Mega Man games in there, like Mega Man and Bass on the SNES or the bizarre Mega Man Soccer. The lack of a Switch version is also massively disappointing, since the classic instant action gameplay that Mega Man provides would have been excellent for quick bursts on the go. Still, Mega Man fans will get a kick out of it anyway, particularly because of the presence of Mega Man 8, which hasn't been seen since the Mega Man Anniversary Collection on the PS2, Xbox and GameCube over a decade ago. Moving on, we've got Miitopia on the 3DS. Now, ever since the 3DS launched, I've held out hope for a beefier version of Street Pass Quest, the kind of built-in Mii RPG. It's known as Find Me in the US. The idea of using actual people I'd encountered in real life as party members in an RPG was a brilliant one. It was only really let down by Street Pass Quest's kind of piecemeal approach, which limited you to a tiny chunk of adventure each time before you had to go back out and recruit more soldiers. Miitopia is more or less that Mii-based RPG I've been dreaming of for the past 6 years, and it turns out it's a great laugh, as long as you're willing to put in some admin work. The game's set in Miitopia, a peaceful land where Mii characters live, love and drink copious amounts of Iron Brew Extra. Probably. This paradise is dumped on its arse one day when the evil Dark Lord turns up and steals the faces of all the Mii community. He's not just doing this to save face, he plans to apply these borrowed visages to his new evil army so they can have the eyes, mouth and such necessary to take over the world. It's up to your hero Mii, and a bunch of other Miis who team up with him, to save the day by punching the fuck out of the baddies and getting the townsfolk's faces back. Here's a twist though, every single character in the game starts off as a standard generic Mii character, but you can replace them with any Mii of your choosing, either from your own Mii library, by scanning a QR code you'll find online, or via Mii Central, a kind of built-in gallery of popular user-generated Miis that you can kind of connect online and get. I saw the likes of Batman and Rick from Rick and Morty in there. Populating the entire game, as well as your main squad obviously, with custom characters makes Miitopia far more entertaining, as the various interactions that take place throughout the game gain an extra sense of surrealism. My 4-man team consisted of myself, Morgan Freeman, Barack Obama and Russell Brand, and seeing these very different characters playing off each other was a great laugh. This is helped by the fantastic localisation which Nintendo's once again knocked out of the park. I played the UK version of the game, which is its own different localisation from the US one, so the run button that appears during battles is replaced with one that just says leg it. Speaking of battles, the actual RPG mechanics involved are relatively enjoyable, at least at first. Although it's a turn-based affair, you only control your own character. The other 3 members of your party are AI controlled and act differently depending on the personality settings you gave them at the start. In between battles, your squad wanders along a series of preset paths with occasional forks in the road where you have to decide which way to go. These paths fill in on the map permanently as you explore them, which helps do away with unnecessary grinding because you can see at a glance which routes you still have to uncover. That said, things can start to feel a bit repetitive after a while as you start to cover path after path, and before long the only thing keeping you going is trying to see which comedy cutscene will trigger next. Ultimately then, how much you'll get out of Miitomo depends on how much you want to buy into the concept of casting as many Mii characters as possible in the game's roles. As an RPG, it's a bit basic, but the interactions between your party members and other characters in the game are really what makes it. Commit to personalising these as much as possible and you'll have a fun time. Moving on to the Switch now and a couple of Neo Geo games. First up is Aero Fighters 2. There's now officially more Neo Geo games on Switch than there are Russian athletes who have been caught doing drugs, and Aero Fighters 2 is one of the latest arrivals. It's a vertical scrolling shooter from the imaginatively named Kyoto-based developer Video System, and for the most part it's just your standard shoot 'em up fare. Pick a ship, fly upwards, shoot all the baddies, avoid all the bullets, collect power-ups, beat a boss at the end, beat all the levels, job done, have your dinner, brush your teeth, have a shite, go to bed. It's the same routine you've seen in loads of other similar games. The one interesting thing it does have though is a large number of playable characters, 8 to be exact, some of whom are a bit odd to say the least. From a head in a jar to a punk rocker to a baby wearing a flying hat, each character fires a different type of weapon and even better has their own really weird cutscenes in between each level. Best of all is Spanky, who in his own words is the world's first dolphin pilot, and you can't really argue with that. Aero Fighters 2 doesn't do anything particularly special, but doesn't do anything exceptionally badly either. It's a perfectly fine 90s era arcade shooter for your Switch, right down to the moments of ridiculous slowdown when things get too hectic. The only niggle some people might have is that when you get to the final level, the continue mechanic changes and you no longer respawn where you died when you continue. Instead, you're kind of unceremoniously dumped back at the start of the last level, and you can't just use infinite continues to brute force your way to the end, and you'll actually have to get good, as the kids say, in order to see what happens to Spanky. Admit it, you're curious. As well as that, we've got Super Sidekicks, another Neo Geo game on Switch. Although hang on, because this one's actually important, because it also marks the first football game on Nintendo's new system, at least until FIFA 18 comes later. As you'd expect from an arcade-based football game from the 90s, Super Sidekicks is pretty light on tactics and heavy on speed and spectacle. There are mere 2 buttons to learn here: pass, tackle, and shoot, slide tackle. And there's not really much more to it than that, to be honest. However, that means it's a piece of piss to get used to, and before you know it, you'll be swinging over pinpoint crosses and slamming in ridiculous overhead kicks and diving headers like the ghost of Pele. Well, if he was dead. It's a fun, mindless football game that's ideal for local 2-player gameplay. Big chunky sprites make it good for playing with a pal on tabletop mode on the move because you can still see what's going on even at a distance. Do bear in mind though that there were another 3 Super Sidekick games released on the Neo Geo and they were all better than this one. And so while the first game is great as it is, at the rate these bastards are being churned out on Switch, it's probably only a matter of minutes before we get Super Sidekicks 3 or the Ultimate 11, which was the 4th game as well. So by all means get this if you're looking for a quick, fun football game on the Switch, but as long as you're okay with the possibility that it's going to probably be overtaken by a better Super Sidekicks game at some point in the future. Finally on Switch we have puzzle adventure Blockle, a curious wee puzzler from a Japanese studio, Intense, who previously made the Pick Done games on DS and 3DS. It has 80 levels in which you have to guide a kind of confused cat to the exit by rotating the entire stage with the L and R buttons. It's a bit like the rotating room they built for the first death in A Nightmare on Elm Street, where Freddy drags a kind of half-naked woman onto the ceiling. It's even got the half-naked woman in there in the shape of Arika, a young goddess, that's the game's words, not mine, whose tits are barely stuffed into her chest piece. It looks slightly awkward, almost as awkward as the look that would be on your face if you decided to play this in public. The game itself is a harmless puzzler. The room turning mechanic makes for some really interesting puzzles, and there's optional objectives for each stage. If you clear it with a certain number of turns, beating it within a set time, doing it within a certain number of steps, etc. And these encourage some kind of replay value because you can complete the level, but then you can complete it 100% with these extra objectives cleared as well. That provides replay value, but not a lot, mind you. Once you've beaten each of the 80 stages, there's no real reason to go back to it. Unless you've got a real thing for awkward sexual innuendo between a top-heavy schoolgirl and a round cat thing. Mind you, don't we all? And that's it for this review roundup. Please do like and subscribe and do all that shit you're supposed to do on YouTube. I'm very much a writer, not a YouTuber, but I'm attempting to build my YouTube skills. So hopefully this is the sort of thing you like. If it is, or if it isn't, please do let me know in the comments below, and do share it with your chums. The more people watch this, the more will get made, and the happier we will all be for it. Thanks guys, catch you on the flip-flop.